Okay. Usually I have gone crazy in the past in post-fight press conferences when I have certain disagreements, so I'm going to try to really keep my emotions in check. First of all, I want to take the positives. Thank Golden Boy, Brett Yormark, Showtime for making this whole event at night possible. This was a dream come true to be able to fight in Brooklyn, just a few miles from where I'm born, in the hospital where I'm born. And tonight's a special night. It was an emotional night for a lot of reasons. Me winning in Brooklyn, also seeing Petey win the world middleweight title right before I came out there, man. I got real emotional in the locker room before I got out there, man. I was so happy for him. I've seen him sacrifice in the gym. We got the same training and stuff, and I'm so happy. I know that first world title, man, is just so special, and I know what he's feeling, and I was real happy for him. The rest of my Brooklyn friends, Louis Collazo, Dimitri Salita, Danny Jacobs, all of us, I know how special this was to all of us. So big thank you to Brett, Golden Boy, and Showtime for making this amazing night possible, and hopefully to keep doing this again, As for the actual fight, I thought Pablo Cesar Cano was a good fighter going in. I didn't underestimate him. I was definitely disappointed he didn't make weight, because I knew this was a history-making night as far as world championship fights, being in Brooklyn for the first time in 80 years, and I so desperately wanted to be a part of that. I wanted to have a world championship fight in Brooklyn as well. I worked 2 years after signing with Golden Boy to get myself to the welterweight championship, and with their help, I got to it, and I was really looking forward to defending a world title here. And so it was disappointing that Cano didn't make weight, but he came hungry. He came to fight. In my opinion, I think they took a different approach as far as when they had the time to make the weight. I think they didn't really try to make the weight after they had time to make the weight. I think they figured, let's not weaken ourselves. Let's try to get a win over Malignaggi instead, because a win over Malignaggi is still a win over a name, and we don't have a win over a name yet. If we try to make the weight, we may weaken ourselves. So I think they just chalked up the title fight as a loss and said, you know what, forget the title fight, we didn't make weight. Let's just try to get the win over Malignaggi, because he was strong. He was strong. He's a good puncher. I haven't been hit that hard since the Miguel Cotto fight. He was a good puncher. But I gotta say, I have to say, as far as New York, I guess, as far as hometown decisions, I mean, nothing could be further from the truth in New York. I mean, I thought PE's scorecards were a little too close. Definitely my scorecards were a little too close. I respect Cano, but I don't think the fight was close. I thought I won it pretty easily. The CompuBox box, I think they gave him every body shot, even though most of the whole left hooks to the body landed all on my arms. I think when the guys who press the CompuBox box, anything to the body score is a punch landed. They don't even realize. But when you punch to the head and it's on the gloves, they don't count it. But if you punch to the body and it's on the arms, it gets counted every time. Because I did not get hit with that many power shots. I got hit with a few right hands and a few rounds. He was timing it pretty well on top of my jab at times. Glenn Feldman's scorecard, I just want to make a note, he was sitting right in front of Cano's family. And I like Glenn Feldman. I think he's been a pretty good judge, in several other fights, not mine, but several other fights. And nice guy, I've met him. I remember the Love More to Do fight when I dominated Anu and won 120-106 on 2 scorecards. Glenn Feldman was the only guy that gave Anu rounds. There was also another fight where I won every round. I don't remember which one it was, and I remember Feldman being the only guy that gave my opponents rounds. He was sitting in front of Cano's family. A professional like that is not supposed to be influenced by anybody's family. I mean, they were going crazy. I could see them in the corner, because if I looked over Eric Brown, my trainer's shoulder, my eyes would just meet them. It would just they were right behind Eric. So every time I would sit down, Eric would be talking to me. I'd look over his shoulder, and they would be sticking out their tongue, making faces. They were really excited. They were doing their job, cheering for their guy. But honestly, they had to influence the judge, because what was he watching, dude? I mean, seriously, am I drunk? When I remember getting knocked down in the 11th round and feeling comfortably ahead, maybe I was too comfortable. Usually I'm pretty good, though. I remember the Ngujo fight I had in the Love More to Do rematch. I recognized those fights were close during the fight. This fight, when I got knocked down, I didn't say, man, this was close. I can't afford this knockdown. I said, man, don't get your ass knocked out. You're comfortably ahead. I can't believe it. You just got your ass dropped. That's what I said. I didn't think the fight was in jeopardy at all, unless, obviously, I get knocked out. So, some people may have it a little closer, but I didn't. And again, I'm going to say I respect Cano, his will, his heart, everything, but I didn't think the fight was that close. I didn't think, I got hit with a few right hands in a few of the rounds. I dominated every round with the jab. He didn't land the power shots, CompuBox said, I remember years ago, I stopped believing in CompuBox. I fought Don Camarena, I remember, and CompuBox had 40% of his punches landing. And I didn't have a scratch on me in 10 rounds. You know how hard that is to go 10 rounds and not have a scratch on you? I didn't have a scratch on me in 10 rounds with Don Camarena. And then I looked at CompuBox and he landed 40% of his shots. Like, and that's the night I said, fucking CompuBox, get a good fucking life. It's all people pressing buttons and all that shit. And like I said, every body shot obviously counts. But again, back to the fight. I'll give Cano credit. I thought I won the fight, but he's a warrior. I still can't believe I got dropped. You know, I'm a very proud fighter. I'm a very proud individual, and I don't like getting up off my ass like that, especially in front of my hometown crowd. I got up. I was pretty embarrassed, you know. I was like, I cannot believe it. I remember, it's funny, I've been dropped twice in my career now, and both times as I was going down, the thought flies through my head like, oh shit, I'm going down, like stay up, you know? Like as I'm going down, I don't know if it's slow motion or what, as I'm going down, both times I've been down in my career, I'm trying to stay up. I'm like, oh shit, I'm dead, you know? So it's weird, you know? Like I've been more hurt standing up than I have been when I've been dropped in the 2 times in my career I've been down. So again, I mean, it made the fight exciting, but I didn't think the fight was in jeopardy at all. But you know, I guess everybody has an opinion.
Paulie, tonight we saw a lot of the Mexican contingencies on hand. We saw the Puerto Rican contingency on hand. We even saw African Americans supporting their native people.
Mm-hmm.
Why? What is it that it's going to take to have some Italian flags around the arena when you fight? Do you think maybe you can influence up and coming Italian fighters to get back into the sport?
I would like to. I think I'm more of a Brooklyn fighter than an Italian fighter as far as the Italian support. I sold a lot of tickets. I don't think anybody sold more tickets than me on the show.
Oh, you absolutely did.
But I don't think I'm based more of an Italian fighter. It's a shame. But you know, especially Italian Americans are very different than Italian Italians. You know, I think Italians are one of the cultures that really lose the culture from Italy when they move to America. You know, you know, I think I have Brooklyn support. I think it could grow. I think it could get better. I think this was just the first of different nights we can have at Barclays, and I think I can, you know, hopefully become a staple here and, you know, grow that support here. You know, this is just the first night, and I hope I can, you know, grow that support. And you know, when the Barclays Arena was first talked about, I remember thinking, you know, if everything goes right, maybe I could do like Arturo Gatti did in Boardwalk Hall and make Barclays Arena my Boardwalk Hall. Obviously, I'm not Arturo Gatti with the support, you know, but I think I can work on that. You know, I got a great promotion team now, and I think with them getting my back, we can really work on you know, gaining that momentum and to support it and the support locally.
Question for Richard and Paulie. You know, you've been talking about how you want to rematch with Ricky Hatton and how, you know, now that he's returning, a little different this time. How much of a possibility is that for next year, and would you want to do it here at Barclays Center?
I think it would be amazing to do it in Barclays Center. I want to see how Ricky looks against Zinchenko. It's not a very easy fight for him. But you know, of course, it interests me. Anytime you get a chance to avenge a loss, it interests you. I'm sure Richard probably has more answers than me. So I guess you can ask him too. But of course, I'm a competitor. I'll fight anybody.
Paulie, when you had his right here.
Hold on a second. I think, yeah, I'm actually, Roberto Diaz is going to go over to on November the 24th to Manchester to be there for Ricky's fight. I agree, Paulie, it's a real fight with Zinchenko, but that's what Ricky wanted. He didn't want to fight just a tune-up opponent. He really wants to see what he has, and he would like to, after that, fight for a world title. I was recently just returned from England, met there with Richard Poxon, his advisor, manager, and head of his promotional entity, and that's definitely a fight which we are going to discuss further. But really, I mean, you know, Ricky has a tough task ahead of him. So let's do that. Let's that happen first, and then if he wins, I think there's a good chance that fight could happen.
Paul, we have 2 questions for you. Paul, right here.
Okay.
So when you had his eye cut up in the 2nd round, 3rd round, what were your thoughts? Because you landed 16 jabs in the 1st round, I think 18 jabs in somewhere around the 5th round. What were your thoughts about the eye, targeting the eye, and then?
I'm a jabber all the time, so I figured the jab would keep opening the eye. I thought it did. I mean, I could see the bone. I mean, that was a bad cut, dude. I mean, I literally could see the bone. It was like gruesome. And you know, Steve Smoker's not a ref that stops fights, and I think a lot of that had to do with what you wrote, that you kept saying, "Oh, Steve Smoker stopped the Zinchenko fight, and he never stops fights." And I think Steve might have took offense to that, and he's like, "You know what? I'm not stopping this fight." And man, but you know, I think you know, I get a good laugh out of it now, man. But during the fight, I was mad at you, man. It's like, I was like, damn, Glenn. This guy just, anybody else would have stopped this fight already, or at least have a doctor check him. But no, I mean, obviously it made for some late fireworks because you know you saw the knockdown. It was. I want to make another point too. I think Eric Brown is a trainer. He's a wild card. Freddie Roach is obviously an amazing trainer. He owns the gym, but Eric Brown should really get a lot of credit. He trains Kid Chocolate. He trains me. The media 2 years ago wrote me off as dead, so you can't change your mind now. If I was dead 2 years ago, the guy that brought me back in the gym is Eric Brown, so you got to give that guy credit. You can't say, "Oh, Paulie wasn't finished." I can say it. I can say it because I was saying it the whole time. But if anybody that was saying it, you know, all of you were saying it. So anybody that was saying Paulie was finished 2 years ago, now that means now you have to give credit. Oh, who's the guy that was training Paulie in the gym and brought him back? Well, Eric Brown. So you got to give a lot of credit to Eric Brown. Now he's won. He took a fighter to another world championship in Kid Chocolate. I think when people make their votes for the trainer of the year, I think Eric Brown should get some strong consideration. He's flown under the radar for a lot of years. But Eric is an amazing trainer. Take it from me. He works me hard. We work on a lot of technique, a lot of different stuff, and I think he's just going to continue to be seen more in the public eye.
About Steve Smoker.
I'm not mad at Steve, by the way. I want to get it out there. I'm mad at Glenn Feldman. I'm not mad at Steve Smoker.